Yo, you guys don't have to tell me about the time. I know I had to push it back just a second, y'all. Uh, for resume. Okay, let's get that out the way. Let's get that out the way. All right. All right, cool. It says we're live everywhere else. So let's make sure y'all can hear me. Let's make sure y'all can hear me. Yeah, let's make sure. Okay. Can hear me. You can hear me just fine. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh man. It's another fantastic day. Welcome to our Monday night Finanza special, spectacular show. Regardless of what's going on in the world, you made it here. So for those of y'all that's gonna be watching this back, I appreciate it so much. You know, ain't nobody even in here yet, but I'm going full solo mode. Because we got some interesting topics and conversations to talk about today that I just want to pick y'all brain at. Like, did y'all know that we was getting down like this? Did y'all know that we was condoning this? Like, did y'all know that? You know, I want to know if y'all know that. If y'all know what's going on around you. Because that's what this channel is about. It's about letting you know what's going on around you. All right. That's what this channel is about. Letting you know what's going on. And I got to put on my watch because it goes with my outfit. Speak through me, Lord. Speak through me, Lord. All right. Matthew 7:5. Jesus talked about, I know we got to wait for some more people to get in here and stuff like that, guys. But I kind of like want to talk about, I'm like real eager to talk about the topics today. Oh man. I got some names written off. I wrote them actually on this phone, which is crazy. But I did, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do right here. Real quick. I'll be right back. Real quick. Welcome in, everybody. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Welcome in, everybody. For those of y'all that's going to be watching this back, make sure don't forget, to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. We're bigger than everybody. Everybody that you can think of, that's who we're bigger than. And I appreciate you guys being here because out of anywhere in the world that you could be, you're here with us, you know? And I think it's a good thing that you came for substance. And I think it's a good thing. Hey, guys, how's it going? Familia. Hey, how's it going? So we got some topics today. Let me read off the topics of what we're talking about. Just some prominent names that we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about Helena Blavatsky, Aleister Crowley, Marina Abramovich, Gandhi, and the Theosophical Society, along with Trump. It seems like we're talking about Trump kind of like on a daily basis on this channel. You know, I promise when I started this channel, my intention was not to make this a Trump channel, was not to talk about my president and the many just outwardly war kind of crimes and stuff that he commits. My intention was never to do that, guys. My intention was never to do this. My intention was to, be funny, be charismatic, was to entertain. That's only been my intention. But many of the plans are a man, but it is the Lord who guides our steps. And that's what we're talking about today, too. We're talking about who these people worship and what these people actually believe in that are in positions of power over our daily lives. So, for those of y'all that's going to be watching this back, again, I appreciate you being here on this Monday Fun Day special. Everywhere in the world you could be, you decide to hang out with us for about an hour or so and get some downloads poured into your thinking and kind of like realize in the world that you operate in. So I'm gonna get right to it. Did you guys know right now that Trump has been given authority by the courts to have more executive power over who he gets to fire, over say so. He got more say so. He got more say so over who he can fire, over who he can hire, over stuff like that. You might be like, okay, what does that matter, bro? That's the president. You know, that's the commander in chief. That's what he's supposed to do. To a degree. What I'm talking about is he gets to fire people from independent agencies. What's an independent agency? The Federal Reserve. That's an independent agency. The Department of Commerce and Treasury and stuff like that. That's an independent agency. So what just happened recently was Trump just fired somebody, the head of the Department of Commerce, something to the effect. He just fired her. And they took the case all the way up to the Supreme Court as if, you know, is he allowed to do this? No, can he do this? Can he just fire people who he doesn't like? Now, I didn't do all my research on the lady that he fired, and I apologize for that, but I do know that he fired her. And I'm going to just assume for the purposes of this conversation that she was like, she was not in favor of him. You know, she wasn't a Trumper. She wasn't a Republican. I'm just going to assume that for the purposes of this conversation, she was not a Republican. That's what I'm going to assume about her. She was not a Republican. So he fired her. And this is, it gets way more juicier than this, y'all. This is just, you know, this is just getting the conversation started. She got fired. The department, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do the stumbling over our words. On December 8th, U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments in Trump versus Slaughter and appears likely to side with Donald Trump in a case that could shift power from Congress. Because normally, like, in order for somebody like her to get fired, they got to go through Congress. Like there has to be many, you know, it has to be like, we call it the due process of law, people. There has to be a due process of law in order for the president to just make a quick change, even to the cabinet. So that's what's going on. Decide with Donald Trump in a case that could shift power from Congress to the president over independent federal agencies. The Trump administration is asking the court to overturn some stuff, but defending President Donald Trump's firing of Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, Federal Trade Commission commissioner. All right, so she's a Federal Trade Commission commissioner. You know, and what is the Federal Trade? The Federal Trade Program handles how we deal with trading of goods and services domestically and abroad. So anyways, he just fired her because he doesn't like how she gets down. He doesn't like how she gets down. So she just got fired. You might be like, you know, what's the, you know, it's the president. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is when you give all the power. So this is the thing about our government, people. Let me just give you a quick little 101 lesson. The thing about our government that makes it so on paper so good is that we got a system called checks and balances. We got a system called checks and balances. And with the checks and balance system, that means that no one group holds power over the other to where they can just make decisions solely based on their own habit. What am I talking about? For example, Congress can't just say everybody has to work 7 days a week and that's mandatory and that's going into effect tomorrow. They can't just do that. They got to go through courts. They got to go through legislation. They got to go through voting. They have to get sign-offs. It has to be heard. So I'm just jump straight to it. Trump and his cabinet are seeking and looking for a complete authoritarian power over everything. They're looking for power over everything and everybody. And the reason that they're doing that is all lined out in their Project 2025 plan. We're going to talk about Project 2030 as well, because Project 2030 is kind of like the New World Order on steroids. You know what I mean? They're not playing. You know, again, I've heard it reported that they tried to get this 2030 plan originally in 2015. That didn't work. So it had to get pushed to 2020. That didn't work. So now it's 2020, it's 2030. Anyways, you got Project 2025 where they outline most of this stuff. Most of this stuff that they're talking about is not stuff that's new or isn't stuff that you couldn't have read somewhere. None of it. None of it is new. Trump's cabinet wants complete authoritarian power I'm trying to talk him on. Trump and his cabinet want complete authoritarian power, and they want Donald Trump to be the last American president that was voted through the historical election process, where you can only serve two terms of a period of 4 years apiece, and then after that, you are no longer eligible to be on the ballot or the docket anymore. Trump wants to really Steve Bannon. That's the real Trump. For y'all, those of y'all that don't know, Steve Bannon is the real Trump. Steve Bannon is the real Trump. You know, that alligator face, leopard skin looking bag of apples. You know that guy? The guy that look like that? He looks crazy. Anyways, he's the real Trump. He's the real Trump. So if they allow these people to get this power, and what power are they seeking? They're seeking power to do whatever they please, fire whoever they please, hire whoever they please. That's why you get a Bill Gates involved heavily in the medical research programs, and as an American ambassador in foreign countries, pushing his fuckery to the world, pushing his contraceptive devices that keep women from having getting pregnant for a period of 10 years plus. You know what type of device is that where it can affect people like that? Anyways, that's how you get that. That's how you get an Elon Muskie who's not even American, complete authority over sensitive data and information, and then you give him a makeshift job called Doge, under the guise of waste and fraud. What it is he had to give him something because Elon Musk is by and large, other than Russia, we'll talk about that too. Other than Russia, Elon Musk is by and large the reason that Donald Trump even got elected in the first place. So what they want is complete authority and power over the process of government and the process of law. They want to be able to do what they want. Like firing Miss Slaughterhouse. That's the bottom line of this. This is the information that you and I are we have access to. This is the part of the story that you and I can kind of like you and I can kind of like do something about. You know what I mean? You and I can kind of like, we can vote against, by and large, we can vote against stuff like that. You know what I mean? We can vote against stuff like that by and large. How do you feel about, you guys can let me know, how do you feel about Donald Trump being able to hire and fire people as he pleases? No, all presidents don't have the same power, because there's a process of what's called checks and balances, where the original plan, how it's supposed to go, is he can only fire somebody if there's an extreme and an independent, who's not directly a part of his cabinet or not directly somebody he appointed himself. He can't just fire somebody just because he doesn't like them. But what the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court is supposed to be the most unbiased, or at least fair court in the land. What they are currently deciding on right now, and is being reported, is being said that they're going to lean in favor with Trump, is no, we're going to go ahead and give you the say so to where you can do what you want. You can fire who you please. Like we talk about all the time on this show, the thing about doing whatever you want when you want, or the thing about letting in a little, is you open the door for a lot. This is the first administration that has publicly stated that they have no intention on not being on the 2028 ballot for the next presidential election, when our current Constitution states no. Presidents serve 2 terms. 2. You get 2. This is the first administration that is, by the way, where's the sleepy Trump memes, and these conservatives got all the jokes about these people make jokes. Where are all the jokes about Sleepy Trump, like Sleepy Joe and Let's Go Brandon? Where's all the jokes about Sleepy Joe? Anyways, when you open the door for a little, you've exposed us to a lot. Because if you allow somebody just a little bit of headway, just a little bit of space, we're going to take it and go a mile with it. That's the most simplest point that I had today. The most simplest point that I had today is that right before your eyes, we are turning into our worst nightmare. Right before your very eyes. I wish I had something positive to report about America. Right before your very eyes, we are turning into the exact country that we always, in history class and stuff like that we always said that, no, we're fighting against. We are turning into the enemy that we grew up believing was wrong. This is the first administration in history that I'm aware of, correct me if I'm wrong, first administration in history where they openly admit that they have no intentions on following the Constitution as it is currently. So you might be like, all right, then what you getting at? How does that even happen in a place where we got checks and balances, checks and balances where, I can't do too much and you can't do too much. We meet somewhere in the middle and we got to agree on that. How do we come to a place like that? How when we got that system set up, how is Trump doing what he's doing? The reason he's doing what he's doing is because over the last 20 years or so, political dissentment has been growing. It's getting juicy. Don't worry, I'm cooking y'all. I'm giving y'all how the outer shell of this, and then we're gonna peel back the layers until we get to the naked, who these people are and what they really believe and what they really want to be. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe when you get a chance, because we are the biggest, by the way. And today we're talking about who's really running the show and what they really believe in. Because it is not what you think. I got to walk around for this. It's not what you think. That's why I got this $100 mic for. Because it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Trump and his people have no intention of leaving the White House in 2028. I've talked about this on at least 5 episodes now. But it's becoming ever more apparent that the reason that they don't have any intention on leaving is because they have something diabolical up their sleeve. A lot of it was written in 2025. Project 2025. We should read Project 32. That's important. Council for a New World Order, and George, what's George Kuzos? So what's his name? Orwellian New World Order. You know what I'm talking about. It's all coming true right before our very eyes. So how do we get to this point where Trump is getting the say so from the Supreme Court and is essentially they just doing what they want? How do we get to that point? We got to that point because people, by and large, they say we're more separated and divided than ever. That's true to a degree, but we never really liked each other. I see a lot of videos on YouTube about, and I didn't write this down, but this is just my thoughts. I see a lot of videos on YouTube where people go around asking, mostly white people, go around asking black people how they feel about white people. And then they compare, be like, oh, why is this a black and white thing? Everything is black and white. Don't be mistaken and act like it's not. It's a human thing going on, but everything is black and white. Anyways, that's where it starts with. Anyways, I see a lot of white creators that go around and they ask black folks, the ones that they edited into the videos, they ask them, how do you feel about white people? They asked them that in the 70s. They asked them that in the 90s, 80s, 90s, every decade or so. They asked black people this. And the answer that we get is mixed. You know, you get some. I'm getting somewhere with it. Give me a second. The answer that you get with this is some people be like fuck white people. Some people be like white people just like me. You know, we all human. And the thing that we need to do is just stop talking about race. And when we start talking about race, then that's how we move forward as people. When we take our eyes off of things that we can't change about the past. Some shit I don't agree with. Some shit I don't agree with. I got to get up for this one too. Some shit I don't agree with. I don't agree that we can't not talk about the past. That's the way that we move on, is by not talking about it. I don't agree that works. We talked about that yesterday a little bit, about how not talking about the past don't work, bro. Not talking about the past don't work, bro. You got to talk about it. Nah, I don't agree that all, I'm getting somewhere, people. Again, let me cook. This is my show. Let me talk. I don't agree that all white people are to blame for where we are currently. I don't even agree that all white people are from a demonic cell and wish all people harm. I don't agree. I'm way more socially and consciously aware than to put any people into what's called a monolith, like only thinking one way, only acting one way, only voting one way. I'm way too, and I've run into people, I through my own research, I've interacted with people. I grew up around people that I know that's not true. What's going on, everybody? Again, I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. But I'm cooking right now. Hold on, let me finish this thought. I don't agree that white people should be the demons of, as soon as we conquer white people, then the world will be better. I don't agree that that's true. I don't. Even though white people, or the white race, by and large, at least for the last, since Jesus, have been used to police the world. I don't believe that you people are the enemy. I believe that you people have been used as a catalyst for the enemy. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the sentiment of how we got to a place where we vote for a Trump in the first place. This is what I'm talking about. How did we get to a point where we vote for a Trump in the first place? We get to a place where we vote for Trump in the first place is because we have not been it's been like this, people. They call so this current administration uses this word a lot, and I want you to look it up. If you don't know what it means, I'll give you a brief definition. They use this term called woke. They use wokeness as a precognizant, or as a reason for a lot of the troubles that we see in society right now, socially. You know what I'm saying? They use wokeness, and they say wokeness meaning like, people be thinking too much and reading too much in the shit. And that's why they don't trust institutions like the government, or that's why they don't trust American first policies, or, that's why they don't trust America, is because of a woke mentality. And what's woke? Let's talk about what woke really is, because these people use words that they didn't come up with, and then they pervert them into something else. Bible. Anyways, what wokeness originally stimulates from is the civil rights movement, where black people were just like, yo, stay woke about the medical system that is institutionally, insidiously against blacks. Be woke about the justice system that is institutionally and insidiously against blacks. Awareness. That's what wokeness is. It's awareness. It's not this cancel culture banter. It's not just cancel culture. It's not just, oh, I didn't like what he said, he needs to shut up, cancel. That's not woke. It's a symptom of it, but it's not woke. So what I'm saying is, how we got to this point is that you got a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and a bunch of hurt people over here who don't know what happened before they got hurt. And we have never resolved of those two factions. We've never resolved it. It's never been resolved. It has never been resolved. people that got hurt and the people that feel like they're tired of hearing about people getting hurt. It has never been resolved. We have never met in the middle about it. Some of us would rather die than apologize. White America. Some of white America, a lot of white America would rather die than apologize. A lot of black America would rather see this country burn than work with those people who can't say sorry. I myself was one of those people where I was like, yo, let this motherfucker burn. Burn this bitch. I got some matches too. Let's burn it. Let's burn it today. Let's burn it now. I got some matches in the closet. Let's do it today. I was one of those people. I understand how they think. I also grew up around upper middle class white America. I know how they think. They don't give a fuck. A lot of bad language there. I'm just telling how it is. They don't give a damn. They're tired of hearing it. They call it victimhood. Being a victim. I'm cooking. I'm still getting to the political. I'm still getting to the elite arena, who these people are and why they believe what they believe and what they actually believe in, and then what's actually going on. I'm still getting there because it's not about race. Race is just a symptom of what the 1% uses to socially engineer and control the 99%. Race is just a symptom of it. But I'm getting to how and why it's still an issue to this day. The only way that you get a Trump, the only way that you get a Steve Bannon, the only way that you get a Hegseth, the only way that you get a spineless worm like Kash Patel, the only way that you get, and all these people are involved in the cabinet of Trump's administration. Kash Patel is the head of the FBI. The only way that you get these people in positions of power where we used to like in this country, you know what I mean? So like the bar for like intelligence, like, and for like, if you want to be in a position of power, like the bar was like historically high, you know what I mean? Socially, like the bar was high. Like you gotta be, the way you talk has to be fluent. The way you talk has to be charismatic. The way you carry yourself has to be dignified. Your background needs to be clear of controversy. That's what that was the standard. And then it seems like maybe, I don't know, I'll say after Bush's presidency, we kind of like lowered the bar for intelligence. I was a little boy when, Bush was president, so I can only speak so much. But I'm just based off of, I just remember right and left people talking about how dumb Bush was. Now, when you hear him talk, he sounds like he makes sense. I would argue that we started lowering the bar when we allowed Ronald Reagan to be president. Who the fuck voted for that? Some idiots. Anyways, how do we get to a point where Trump is even allowed to hold his nuts and run America? How do we get to a point like that? White America as a whole, the ones we care about, not the ones that are actually people of faith, actually people of good moral character that reach out to us. No, we want the ones that don't give a fuck about us to say sorry. And I'm telling you right now, from your fellow Black America, me, I'm telling you that they're not going to say sorry. It will never happen. I'm telling you. They're not going to say sorry. Ever. They will die before they say sorry. So, now that we know, or now that we understand that they would rather die than say sorry, still, let me answer the question of how do we get here? We got to this point because they would rather die than say sorry. See, when Obama got elected, the world has supposedly changed. The world has supposedly got better. change. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Change had finally come to America. America, this place of abundance and prosperity, and a nation built for all men, united under God. I don't know when they added the God part. These people have never been godly, or nor did they come to this country to believe in God. But anyways, under God, we are all united. And, look how far we've came as a nation. We got Obama here and a black woman in the White House. Look how far we've come. What happened after that was some of the, so you got a sector of America that has always been immersed in the conspiracy. It has always been like, we don't believe, we believe 9/11 was a conspiracy. Roswell, the aliens landing at Roswell. We believe that that's been going on since the 1800s, really since Columbus got here. With those Choctaw stories and stuff like that. Anyways, you got a sector of America that don't believe shit, that has found conspiracy in every level and decade of American history. But when Obama became president, that shit just amplified. What it was it amplified or it reignited the separatist movement, the Confederacy, the losers from the South, and the loser mentality. Those losers, it reignited them and gave them a common enemy. And the enemy was wokeness, or what they now try to define wokeness as, which is a movement away from white nationalism to a place of a diverse utopia. I'm gonna use smaller words, to a place where everybody is equal, and the white man isn't held to a higher degree of excellence for humanity. Obama kind of like reassured them that their country was being sent to hell. I'm telling you, I know these people. And then he got elected twice with his black wife, who just be talking. These people don't like women, no way. The fact that he had a black woman in there talking, oh my goodness, the jokes. And I'm not here to defend Obama. I'm just saying, you guys remember what happened. We got to this point because we've always been at this point. That's my point. We've always been at this point. We've always been at a point of America just got founded yesterday. That's the point we're still at. So the way that you get a Trump is you get a faction of the country who has never really wanted to be a part of this country the way it is. You know how many times Texas was supposed to separate itself from the Union? At least 5 that I know of. You know how many times Abraham Lincoln had to address this, make State of the Union speeches and address Parliament and reassure them that he did not identify the Negro or the nigger as being equal or even biologically close in humanity to the white man. The reason that you have a Trump is because of all of the above. And we have, instead of addressing and hitting head on and not just making a holiday out of a civil liberty conversation. So what am I saying? I'm telling y'all how we got to a point of getting to Trump, but I'm also telling y'all that the reason we got to a Trump is because we've been ignoring the conversation that needs to be had. And it's a simple conversation. The conversation that needs to be had that's being ignored even to this day. And then people that's going to be watching this back, people that's casually coming in and out of the live, people that I've talked to, people that I listen to on the internet, millionaires that I know personally, they like to say that we need to get over it. But I'm telling you, and even those people that get money, like, you guys should know that you don't you move forward by getting over your past, by triumphing over your past, for sure. But you yourself, you who is monetarily abundant, you who is a millionaire, you who is a giant in your industry, you yourself, you know that just because you got over it don't mean you forgot it. America will never heal itself until white America as a whole says sorry with their pockets. And that's not going to happen for the blacks. It happened for everybody else, you know, but not for the blacks. It's not going to happen. They'll die. They'll die. They will die or kill you, try to kill you before they say sorry with their pockets. You know, I don't want to hear your words. I could care less. I don't want a holiday. I don't want a holiday. I could care less. But I'm telling you, the original sin, and I'm not the first one saying this. This is not a new idea. It's not a new concept. The original sin was the perversion of the land. Until they get over that, that's the reason you got a Trump. It's because we don't really talk to each other. We talk behind closed doors. We smile in each other's face like, I don't even do that anymore, dude. I used to, but I can't be fake. Not like that. If I don't like you, if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. The original sin we never got over. So because we never got over the original sin, America will continue to go into this fascist trend that is going to. I'm also going to say that Trump is going to be on the 2028 ballot. I'm also going to say that they're going to win the majority of the House to where they can start making changes, major changes to the Constitution, like allowing a president to run for consecutive terms, unlimited amount of terms, as long as he's voted in by a popular vote, which Trump wasn't. He wasn't voted in by the popular vote. He lost that. He won because of something called you guys know what I'm talking about. It's coming to me. Give me a second. I can't think of it. But anyways, where we vote, that's the popular vote. And then you got the other people who actually make the decision of who's going to be a president. Those people. That's how you won. Those people. Can't think of the name right now. Electoral. There you go. Electoral college. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. That's how you won. So, folks, for those of y'all that's going to be watching this back, and for those of y'all that's coming in and enjoying your time, make sure you sit back, relax, get you a nice snack, get you a glass of wine, a nice whatever it is that you do, because we're talking about some things today that is important. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, because we are the biggest, by the way. The reason that we got to this point right now is because we never repented as a country for our original sins. And until we do that, this country will continue to go in a fascist way, regardless if it's Trump or not. Because once Trump leaves, don't think this gets any better. Because what's going to happen when he leaves is we're going to replace that with a savior, a series of saviors. Because anything is better than somebody who destroys something that he didn't build. I didn't give him permission to tear down my White House. That's mine. I pay taxes for that. For sure. I didn't give him permission to do that. I didn't. That's like me renting out this house right here. Peace and love, King. What's going on? Nice to see you. What's going on right now is like if I rent out this house right here and I leave for 4 years, and when I come back, the people I rented it to is tearing down is tearing up my basement. No. And I don't care about what side of political, because all this shit is demonic, bro. And I'm about to get to that point too. I'm not saying as like I feel like it's demonic or I think it's demonic or something like that. Nah. I'm telling you, it's actual demons operating behind this shit. All right, let me get to that point now. We talked about how we got to this space of Trump being like, how do we even vote for somebody who, I'm using these bad words and I'm gonna keep using them because I got to make a point of emphasis. How do we get to a point where we cool with somebody who shits on themselves? How do we get to a point where we get somebody who a celebrity? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a celebrity. What I'm saying is, how do we get to the point where we are electing someone based off of no credentials? And maybe we don't need a politician anymore. Maybe we don't. But I'm just saying, like, are we retarded? Yo, I'm gonna use the word. Are we retarded as a country? Is the silent majority that mostly voted for him and the 15 to 25% of black males and women that voted for him, are you retarded? Are you retarded? I gotta look myself in the mirror sometimes. I got a mirror right here. I gotta look myself in the mirror sometimes. I gotta be like, yo, the shit that you voted for, you voted for somebody that you knew was not gonna win on the ballot. Are you retarded? Kamala was the better answer, but she's a part of that sneaky regime. At least this regime, they say, they in your face. You know what I mean? They do it in your face. They say in your face. I like that. That's why they say about Southern racism is way better than this Midwest and Northern racism. Because, the Midwest and Northern racism do. Southern racism, or they won't even look at you. I like that. I like that. I like that. I don't like the left liberal. You pretend to be my friend, and then you rate me of resources, and then you outsource what was supposed to be going to my country and going to my children and going to my women and going to my families and going to my community and going to my streets. You outsource the resources for that to fucking Israel. Fuck Israel. Fuck Israel. Fuck them. So who are these people and what do they believe? There's a society called the Theosophical Society. Oh, it was started by, hold on, let me make sure I get her name right. It was started by Helena Blavatsky. There's that Ashkenazi Jewish kind of name there. Anyways, it was started by Helena Blavatsky. And why is she important? Why does Helena Blavatsky name matter to you? Helena Blavatsky. Why does her name matter to you? Her name matters to you because she is the mother, the spiritual mother of people like Aleister Crowley. You ever heard of him? Talk about him in just a second. People like Aleister Crowley. People like Marina Abramovich. You ever heard of her? Marina Abramovich. You ever heard of her? You ever see Jay-Z taking a picture with her where he's staring into this white lady's eyes and they just real close and they move around in a circle? Or you ever seen a picture of like Jay-Z, Kanye, Kim Kardashian at these parties? They call it spirit cooking, where they got human bodies sometimes made in the cake and like people like eat the bodies or like they eat food off of the bodies. Kanye West did that with his daughter present. Yeah, Marina Abramovich. She's like a high. They call her a spiritualist, but what she is a high-ranking industry witch. That's what she is. Just like the other lady that's married to what's the white boy designer name that be making Rick Owen, his wife. The demon old. You know who I'm talking about? Her. With the black fingers, just like her. These people are high witches. I'm not calling them witches because I don't have another word for them. No, that's what they are. Olden times, we would have burned them. I ain't just talking about in Europe. Everywhere we would have burned them. We would have burned them. Would have burnt them. Set them to the fire. Alive. We would have burnt them. So anyways, you got Helena Blavatsky, who is the spiritual mother of Aleister Crowley, which is the spiritual father of people like Marina Abramovich, and everybody that's in the industry right now. What's the one dude, the big rock star, the white boy from the 80s? You know who I'm talking about, blonde head dude. People like him followed Aleister Crowley. People like Ab-Soul follow Aleister Crowley. People like Sean Puffy Combs follow Aleister Crowley. People like Sean Carter, Jay-Z follow Aleister Crowley. People like Keanu Reeves follow Aleister Crowley. The Church of Scientology, Aleister Crowley and Lovecraft, the founder of the Church of Scientology, they were very close. You know what I mean? So like all of these people, they really get their information from Helena Blavatsky. Helena Blavatsky. A lot of these people owe their spiritual practices to Helena Blavatsky. And who is Helena Blavatsky? Helena Blavatsky is just like her name, is this Eastern European Ashkenazi Jewish type that was the founder of a society called the Theosophical Society, which practices on and it sounds good on paper. I'm gonna tell you what it is. They believe in all universal truths leading to a path of salvation. They believe in a universal law of love. If you know anything about Aleister Crowley too, you know that universal law of love. We can talk about that in just a second. They believe also in I'm gonna tell you what they believe. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what they believe. Dog. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna tell you what they believe. You don't even gotta worry about it, bro. You don't even have to worry yourself, dude. Oh man, you guys gonna make this hard for me? Come on, man. Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society is an international organization founded in 1875 by Helena Blavatsky and Henry Steele Alcott, exploring wisdom traditions, promoting universal brotherhood, encouraging comparative study of religion, philosophy, and science, focusing on humanity's divine nature. So anyways, that's what they created. And they funded and they helped out people like Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. He was a founder and directly connected with Helena Blavatsky. He was a member of the Theosophical Society. People like him. People like Aleister Crowley. You might be like, man, Gandhi was a good guy, right? He was a good guy for thinking. He was like a European educated, kind of like rich boy, Indian boy. He was for the upper middle class, the upper class, getting better treatment abroad and in India. He was like, we don't want the British occupying where we be at, us upper class people. But he was not good to women, children, or black people. He was kind of like the worst. So anyways, people like him followed her. And then again, I just told y'all that she is the spiritual mother of really the whole industry. Getting to that spiritual cooking. Yeah. I just briefly talked about what it is. But where they get these practices from is so this is what you got to understand about the body, right? The body is a machine. The body is a human mechanism that directly is basically a vehicle that you can time travel in this body. You can astral project in this body. You can heal others with this body. You can channel a demonic or divine spirits with this body. This body is a mechanism of it's the highest computer ever invented. Your body is literally a computer. That's why they call it manifesting, but really it's already yours. Money, women, men, whatever you want, it's already yours. So what this body is a temple for whatever it is that you operate in, the divine or the demonic. People like Helena Blavatsky and Marina Blavanovich, people like them, they believe in Lucifer, the light bearer, as the savior of humanity. Lucifer, the light bearer, as the savior of humanity. Because they believe if it was not for Lucifer leading us, giving us divine enlightenment, I'm telling you what they believe, giving us divine enlightenment in the garden and letting us know that we won't die if we disobey if we separate ourselves from the divine and the instructions of the divine. So they believe Lucifer kind of like sped up humanity and our Lucifer, enlightened us and let us know that we could be more than just tillers of the land. Because being a part of the land, even today, being a farmer is kind of like looked lowly upon. But what you realize is the more and more you separate yourself from the land, kind of like the stupider you get. So was Lucifer a light bearer or was he an agent of chaos? I'd argue an agent of chaos. But anyways, people like Marina Blavatsky and Helena Abramovich, people like them, what they believe and what they'll say out of their mouths, what she said out of her mouth, numerous amounts of times. And this is the same information that's in the 33rd degree Masonic handbook, is that Lucifer is at the top of the pyramid and is the God of this world. These people believe this. They truly do. And so what spirit cooking has to do with all of this type of stuff is that these people believe that they can gain resources or they can gain supernatural powers or they can gain your energy by having these parties where they have spirit cooking, where, either they have a live body that they eat food off of, or they have like a makeshift cake body where they, it's got flesh looking in it, but it's all cake, and they eat that. They believe they can digest the essence. So this is like the reason behind like child sex trafficking and, the Epstein islands and stuff like that. It's all connected. How we got to this point and how we're at this point is because the country has never separated itself from people like Helena. What the heck is this lady's name, bro? Jeez, oh, peace. Helena Blavatsky. We've never really separated ourselves from Helena Blavatsky. Honestly and actually, we've looked up to people like Helena Blavatsky. We looked up to people like Aleister Crowley. Who is Aleister Crowley? Aleister Crowley developed something called the law of love after channeling what he calls ancient gods from Egypt. So he channeled what he believed to be gods, but what we know as parasites. He channeled parasites, and they told him that he would be used to usher in a law or age of light, to usher in the age of Satan through enlightenment. Because we're going to talk about how Aleister Crowley died. He died surrounded by his own excrement. His own, excrement is doo-doo. He died around his own doo-doo and human feces, and he died broke, and he died alone with multiple infections and diseases. But anyways, what he taught and what he said is that he preached something called "do what thou wilt," or the law of love. You know who also said that they operated in the law of love, and they was about to make a whole album called The Law of Love. You know who else did that? 10 points. $100. Can somebody name $100? I'll take my own money. Sean Puffy Combs. That's why he changed his name to Love, and he was a devout follower and practitioner of Aleister Crowley, and it's called the Lehmites. Lehmanism. I think that's a word. Lehmanism. Anyway, they're Lehmites. They believe they're an offshoot of what the Blavatsky lady created with the Theosophical Society. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget, rather, to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. We're bigger than everybody. So I appreciate y'all being here on this Monday night special. We're exactly where we've always been, people. And I'm about to get into that a little bit more. We are exactly where we have always been. And the problems and stuff like that we're thinking are problems and stuff that we're worrying about isn't actually what we need to worry about. Before I get to that, let me read this question right here. So, is Lucifer good or bad? That's a good question, bro. It's a good question. How old is the world really? That's another good question. Let me answer the first question first. Do you look at where we at in society right now as being good or bad? Do you look at all these technological advancements and humans become more and more like a machine or more and more like God? Do you believe that that's something that's good or bad? Do you look at societies that live completely off of the land, that coexist with the land? Some that we are aware of, some that we aren't aware of. Do you look at them like animals or savages or primitive? So what I'm asking you is, do you look at where we're headed to right now as a good thing? And then you look at where we came from as a bad thing, as far as hunting, gathering, living off of the land, being in complete alignment with the land and stuff like that there. Because what Lucifer, I'm answering your question. What Lucifer took part in, dog, was enlighten humanity that we could become like God, that we could be better than God. In fact, listening to God is what's holding us back. He was a steroid. You think steroids are good? I would argue that steroids are not good for anything or anybody. Lucifer is a steroid. He tried to skip the process. Because when you're made in the image of God, you will naturally have tendencies that are like God. And you will naturally exist in the mindset of God. And as you grow, your likeness to the Creator will become more and more apparent. But if you try to think outside of that box and you live outside of that box, it's kind of like denying where you came from. I mean, it's kind of like, if you was raised by farmers, it's kind of like moving to New York City and acting like you don't know nothing about that country life. And your success, you scale your success by how long and how much you were able to get away from that country life. That's how you measure success. So, is Lucifer a good guy or bad guy? Lucifer is a bad guy, bro. For this only reason. Lucifer is a bad guy because he told me how to think. That's why he's a bad guy. Because he told me how to think. Anyone who tells you how to think is a bad guy. Anyone who tells you how to think is a bad guy. No one can tell you how to think. What I can suggest to you is things that work for me. And I can also suggest to you to have a divine I'll use the word divine, but to have an inner connection with yourself and to talk to this voice that is watching you watch me right now. Talk to that. Yeah. What Lucifer will basically tell you is, let's figure out how to get bigger than God so we can kill him. That's what Lucifer's basically do. That's what Lucifer does. Let's figure out how we can get bigger than God so we can kill him. Because he's holding you back. He's holding humanity back. But if he's holding us back, then what the heck are we doing here? If he's holding us back, why would I listen to you? If he's holding us back, why haven't we ascended yet? It seems like I'm being held back by the idea that I think I'm being held back. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna move forward in the discussion a little bit because I know I make these shows. These shows have been really like politically charged and stuff like that. And you know, I'm not a politician. I'm just somebody that's, you know, I read and then I'll be like aware, and then I'll be listening to stuff, and I'll be seeing stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't mean to make it so much about politics, but politics are used to distract us from what's actually going on. What's actually going on is that these people, Marina Abramovich said herself that Trump is a high level warlock. He's a high level magician. And this is Marina. She knows everybody. She knows all the who's. She said that about Trump in 2024. Is that he's being used to usher in the age of light. David Bowie, that's the name I was thinking about earlier. David Bowie, he said that. He said this in the 90s, that we're entering into the age of light, where everything will be turned upside down and nothing will be like it was. I kind of think America was the start of the age of light. I kind of think, you know, we've never been, you know, where we've never been on track. Marina Abramovich said that about Trump. He's a high level warlock. Do you think when he was talking about the Bible and he was talking about how we're going to bring traditional Christian beliefs, and he held the Bible in his hand and he held it upside down, do you think that was on accident? Do you think that was on accident? You can talk to me. I'm going to tell you this. Nothing is done on accident that's shown publicly. Nothing. Nothing is done on purpose. I mean, nothing is done on camera that's shown and broadcasted for millions to see. That's an accident. He did not purposely or non-purposely hold the Bible upside down while he was talking about the Bible. He wouldn't do that. As dumb as y'all think he is, he's not that dumb. He's not. He's not that dumb, guys. I know that's a shocker to a lot of people. You know, I hear my grandma, that was her. She, you know, would have did it harder. You know, how dare I say Trump not dumb? You know what I mean? But he's not dumb. These people that are in positions of power, they might not know the law. They might not know policies. They might not know the job that they're currently doing. But as far as what they're doing, they're not dumb. They know what they're doing. They might not know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing for the reason that they're doing it. God is all, bro. God is destruction. God is the creator of Lucifer. We can talk more about that in just a second. Let me finish this thought. I'm still at, how do we get to this point? And what do these people believe in? I'm transitioning into that point. We got to this point of allowing Trump to be amongst us, of allowing MAGA to be amongst us, because we've always been MAGA. We just called it something else. We've always been MAGA because we've never addressed what we really think about each other. We've never really talked about that, what we really think about each other on a national public forum. We kind of act like and we dance around what we feel about each other. And then when we have people who say it like it is, we call them extremists, black and white. I saw a podcast recently where it was this white guy talking to this Dominican lady who said she was Dominican. You know, she identifies as Dominican, not black. But he was talking to an American white dude, and he was like, she was like, I identify as I'm Dominican. You know those people. I know black. I'm Dominican. You know what I mean? She was one of them for sure. Anyways, and he did what a good old white boy do. And you know, I was on his side for this. He was like, I don't care what you don't, none of that shit that you. I'm saying what he said. Don't none of that shit that you said just matter to me. To me, you're just a nigger. And then she was like, I take that highly offensive. That's highly offensive. You're like, I don't give a shit. See, I like that. 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 Telling it exactly how you see it, bro. And that's the same thing with these administrations. They're either good or bad. But anyways, back to the point of how we got there, what these people actually believe in. I give you these names, Helena Blavatsky, Marina Abramovich. I give you these names, Aleister Crowley, Gandhi. I give you these names, Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, Donald J. Trump, J. Edgar Hoover, Ted Cruz, Obama, heads of state. I'm giving you these names and I'm saying all this is because these people are completely aware of their agencies and what they actually believe in. So let's pivot. That's a good place to pivot on real quick. Let's pivot to the different agencies that are operating behind the scenes. Let's start with my own faction. I'm not a part of it. I'm not a part of it, but I'm, my people, by and large, my people faction, which would be the Freemasons. White and black are part of the Freemasons, but blacks weren't allowed historically to join the normal factions of Freemasonry. So we had to develop other factions and offshoots of Freemasonry. In Matthew, I believe in Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 or 14, it says, Jesus says, it was also part of the Sermon on the Mount. He says, steer away from secret oaths. Let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes. The gospel is meant to be given freely and openly. If you have something, you don't withhold that from the people. So by and large, these secret oaths that we all took in, and I don't care who you are. My mother doesn't like when I speak like this because she's a part of them too. She might be watching this right now. But it's true. Any oath taken in secret or in privacy, any vow of secrecy given to man or woman is demonic. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. So don't forget to share the video and tell everybody about us because today we're talking about where you are actually. You know, I kind of always try to talk about that, but I'm talking about it for sure in this one. Jesus did nothing in private. Anything done in private is demonic. And if you have information that is supposed to be what's called enlightenment, and you are sworn to a vow of secrecy, you are operating in darkness. You are. Prince Hall, Freemasonry. Boulay, Freemasonry. Freemason chapters anywhere. Rosicrucian chapters anywhere. Shriner chapters anywhere. Black Greek organizations. And my mama don't like when I talk like this. I gotta get up for this shit because I hear it right now. We be disagreeing on this shit. We do. She be like, you saying that I worship the devil? I worship the devil? No, what I'm saying is the founders of your organizations worship the devil. Historically speaking, Prince Hall Freemasons, Boulay Freemasons, black fraternities have been used for our bourgeois society of blacks to compete or to, just because we've always been the slave class in this country doesn't mean that everybody's been living like a slave. All black people, most black people I know got money. And then there's caste systems and there's caste systems in every national identity people. It's not just a white thing. It's not just an Indian thing. It's a human thing. There are caste systems on every facet of society. And in the black society, what these organizations did was gave us a sense of gave us a sense of pride and dignity. Sitting, how big of a deal it was to take a picture as a Mason, to take a picture in your gown, to have that Masonic ring. You know how big of a deal that was? Up until very recently, last 40, 30 years or so. 30, I say 30, about 30, 35 years. I say 40. Last 40 years or so. That was a big deal for blacks to be a part of these organizations, these bourgeois, because that made you part of the black elite. Nothing have I done in secret. Nothing have I done in secret. One of the main reasons I didn't pledge no fraternity is one, because I didn't go to American colleges. But if I did, the main reason I'm not pledging no fraternity is because you're not going to put your hands on me, nor are you going to embarrass me for an opportunity. I know I did 607 Unks podcast. I didn't know that shit would go how it did sometimes for me, But I've learned since then. And I'm aware. You yourself, 607, I know you be watching this. You yourself, you claim to be a 33rd degree Mason. You also claim to be a prophet of God. Which one is it? Because nothing have I done in secret. I can speak to you in parables and in riddles, because those who have eyes, let them see. Those who have ears, let them hear. Everybody not going to get the download. But secrecy, oaths to a man, conjugated by men, I could never. So what you have operating behind the scenes are these factions. You have these factions operating behind the scenes to a large degree. Martin Luther King Jr. Was not a Prince Hall Freemason, they say, but actually he became an honorary Prince Hall Freemason shortly after he died. He was indoctrinated into Alpha Phi Alpha at a Masonic hall in Atlanta when he became Alpha Phi Alpha, the oldest Black Greek fraternity. These fraternities, black and white, they both operate in the occult. Their rituals to get you to cross over. When you got to cross over, your crossing over phase. When you in the bleak, when you in a Greek sorority, your crossing over phase. Your all of it. It's all Masonic rituals. So what I'm telling you is that this stuff goes deeper than what you may assume. It's in every level and facet of society. It's not just at the top. As above, so below. And that's on here on earth too. So now that we know that basically all of our heroes, excluding my personal favorite, I love this man. You know, and I wish that he could have lived longer, but he did what his assignment. You know, he did his assignment, and that was Malcolm Little, or y'all know him as Malcolm X. But the reason that he was kind of allowed to operate amongst the operate in the space of exposure was only because of the backing financially and physically of the Nation of Islam, who also has been known to work with not only Ashkenazi Jews, but also operate within the occult world as well. That's why they're able to still organize themselves and stuff like that. But that's why, you know, nothing they say really goes. You know, they tough around blacks. They not tough nowhere else. So he was allowed to operate, and you know, he was allowed to be big and bad because he was a part of a society. But even him, he came to a point of recollection. He came to a point of awakening when he was like, yo, not only do you people not actually believe what you talk about, you don't have any actual solutions to get to where you act like you're trying to go, but also you people are weirdos. You people are weirdos. My uncle, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You people are weirdos. You people are pedophiliac weirdos. I don't even know if pedophiliac is a word. It's a word right now. You people are pedophiliac weirdos. And I'm going to stay a Muslim, even though I don't agree with that. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to stay a Muslim, and I'm going to submit to the will of God. But I cannot run around with you weirdos, because you people work behind the scenes with the same people who you say is the enemy. And you don't have any actual solutions. You don't have any actual solutions. I just told y'all Martin Luther King wasn't made a Prince Hall Freemason until after he died. Why give him an honorary status that he cannot benefit from? Is because they want the historical record to show that we have our hand on every single facet of society. Why do you think MLK is the one that gets the day and not, I almost said SOLARMAN. Oh, shit. Why do you think MLK gets the day and not Malcolm X, which he just talked about self-defense? Why do you think it's Martin Luther King Jr. who's cool with getting beat up? Why do you think it's him? Why do you think it's him that's cool with getting beat up? Gandhi. Why do you think they promote him that's cool with getting beat up? And they don't talk more about like a Cesar Chavez, a Malcolm X. I'm thinking of one guy who was part of the Back to Africa movement. Y'all know his name. Man, what's his name? The Back to Africa movement. He was before all of these people. He was in the early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. Marcus Garvey. Garvey. Why don't I talk about him? Now, most of the I'm going all over the place, but I'm still connecting this to who the elites are, what they actually believe, and what they actually practice. I'm on the black side right now. I'll make it over to the white side. But on the black side, most of our heroes, most of the ones that we quote, W.E.B. Du Bois, etc., those type are a part of the black bourgeois society. They are the black elites. You know, a lot of them were Masons. And at this lower level, at this lower tier, first degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, it goes above 33rd degree, by the way. But anyways, on these lower levels, it is not known outwardly that the light bearer or that the path of enlightenment is given by Lucifer. It isn't known like that. Oh, man, that's cool, man. Welcome in, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. We are the biggest, by the way. Please don't forget when you get a chance. I got a cool, dope conversation with a real popular channel. He just commented on this video. Understanding Conspiracy, where we talked about, we didn't talk about this, but we also talked about kind of like what's going on behind the scenes and what these people actually believe in and what they actually practice. So that's cool, man. And that's awesome, bro. I hope I can be a part of one of those lives that you do also on Wednesday too. Yeah, that'd be cool too, man. If you let me know about that. But anyways, what we need to understand though, people collectively, what we need to understand is that the ties to who we celebrate as heroes it's all controlled opposition. It's all controlled opposition. That's what I'm saying. It's all controlled opposition. MLK was controlled opposition. Awesome, dog. That's dope. And welcome in, Nikki. That's my mama name too, by the way. So I always appreciate when you comment on the channel. It reminds me of her. The people that we celebrate are all controlled opposition. Trump is not as dumb as you think. I was talking to another guest that I had. Well, this might have been about 2 odd weeks or so. You guys can go back on my channel and watch that where we unpack dreams and stuff like that. I believe it was the video before that. Anyways, he was basically talking about how he doesn't believe that Trump really knows or is cognizant, is aware of, how demented or evil that, his cabinet and him and people like him come across. Like he's saying that he don't think Trump is aware of that. And I'm saying that these people are so demonic and so controlled by their gods that they don't care how they come across. They don't care who they affect. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I want to make sure I cover all my points. And I want to make sure that I don't miss out on any spaces for debate. You and I are not living in, oh my goodness. And maybe, I don't know if you're still on here, Paul, but maybe we can talk about this one day. But the digital ID system that's going on in the UK too. They're very serious about that. This wasn't a part of the, I didn't write this down either, but this is important and it kind of all got to do with what I'm talking about. In Vietnam right now, we talked about this on the show too. They got something that's called the digital ID system, where it's essentially, not only is it it's this right here. Not only is it a digital wallet and passport, but also it's a way to keep track of your biometrics. It's a way to do that. And so they say it's optional. Y'all remember something they said was optional too that affected the whole world? Y'all remember? It was in 2020. 100 points for the first answer. Y'all remember something they said was optional, but like if you didn't do it, you couldn't operate in society? Y'all remember that? The jab. I'll just say the jab, because I see other content creators that are far more bigger platforms and we're just now getting monetized. So I'll act like them. I'll say the jab too. The jab, it was optional, but the things, and I know I'm bouncing around, guys, but I'm still on point. The booster. That's a good one. The booster. They said it was optional. But there's nothing optional when you involve my employment as a condition for if I comply or not. In places like Vietnam, China, Russia, India, where else? Some other places I can't think of right now. They're trying to do it in the UK too. They're implementing a digital ID system, and they're saying that, if you don't want to get the system because you feel like it's too infringing upon your privacy, whatever, we understand. Hey, we get it. But moving forward, over the next 5 to 10 years, you won't be able to get employment or you won't be able to get a loan for a house, or you won't be able to operate in society. If I can't get employment, you're killing me. So what they're saying is that it's not optional, but also they're saying it's like this. It's act like this, right? Act like this is some gold, right? I'm like, hey, this is your paycheck. But in order for you to get your paycheck, you got to bend over. You want your paycheck? Bend over first. And you want your paycheck? Bend over first. If you don't bend over, I can't give you your check. You don't got to bend over. But if you want your check, you got to spread eagle. If you want your check, spread eagle. I need that. Does that sound like an option? Does it sound like a choice? That's what's going on right now, guys, at a high level. They just froze over 5 million bank accounts in Vietnam for people that didn't have the digital ID system. How you feel about that? Again, we talk about on this channel often how you need to pay attention to the world around you for this simple fact. You need to look at the countries and the places that you look at as being lower than ours to see how those people are treated. Because however the least of us is treated is eventually how they intend on treating all of us. So you got to look at places like Brazil, China, Russia. You got to look at how they're treating their citizens. UK, you got to look at how they're treating their citizens. They're not playing with this digital ID stuff. They're not playing with the New World Order. What is the New World Order? They want to be unified under Satan, under the divine light. They're not playing. They froze over 5 million, 5 million bank accounts. You've killed me for not giving you everything. How you feel about that? How you feel about being killed? Yo, I'm laughing because I'm laughing to stop from crying. You know, I'm laughing to stop from crying because I don't know what else to do other than this right here. And then use my resources, use the grace and the light that has been given to me from God to tell you. This is not me speaking, y'all. I'm shy. I'm soft-spoken. I like staying out the way. This is something else. It's happening at a faster rate too. So that's something else too. What would you do differently if you got an office also as opposed to the forces that you know exist? What would I do differently if I was in office? That's a good question. What would I do differently? This is what I would do differently. I would stream every day in office. I would stream every day in office. There might be some matters of policy that they say need to be closed door sessions and stuff like that. But I think if we're going to change anything, we need to change the way that we disclose information. You know, so what I would do, I would be the first streamer politician. That's what I would be. Every single hearing, meeting, closed door session, bill that gets introduced, I would stream it. So you know exactly what's going on. Now, whether you agree or not, that's going to be up to you. But you know exactly what's going on. Honestly, I think that's what should be done anyway. And then we need to have a national like grid, you know, the same way we can watch the stock market. We can watch prices fall, the stock market isn't like some actual, like, a bank where all of our money and stuff is. The stock market is rich people and how they feel about shit. That's what the stock market is, people. For those of y'all that don't know, and those of y'all that's going to be watching this back, the stock market is rich people and how they feel about shit. Anyways, what needs to happen there is that I would also introduce legislation. It wouldn't pass, but I would introduce it. I would introduce legislation where, hey, how we got like a national budget and we got like, we got this going on, like this money is supposed to be allocated for that. We're going to have a time clock on all of our budgets. And then we're also going to have a consumer login portal to see where their taxes are going. So basically it's going to be like how you can log online to your bank. And somebody, y'all write this down because I might forget it. I'm spitballing this. I just thought about it just now. Anyways, you know how y'all got y'all online banking, how you can check you can check your account just like that right there. So what I would suggest is that the same way we can do that with our own stuff is that we need to do that with our We need to have a banking login for our local city, our state, and our country. Yeah, and that's why people like Trump so much. I gotta walk around for this stuff too, dog. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about it. You know, I wear my bear. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about it. The reason why Trump was so liked was because he preached transparency. He preached that he was against the system. And people actually believed it. You know what? I'm not gonna call those people morons or idiots for believing in, you know, a great sales pitch. Because that's who the dude is. He's a salesman. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for believing in a sales pitch. You know, because when I was a little boy and Obama was inaugurated for the first time, when I was like, I had to be no more than 9 or 10 when Obama was elected the first time in 2008. So when he was elected the first time in 2008, you know, I believed that I was just proud to be alive. I had never seen my people come together for something. I had never seen so much everybody from all facets, from the bourgeois black society, you know, they call them uppity Negroes, the uppity Negroes to the ratchets, to the hood. I had never seen some people of both places take so much pride in something and come together and meet in the middle. And people stop, you know what I'm saying? Like how normally, like, you know, I'm from Cincinnati. Like how normally in Cincinnati, we got places in Cincinnati that's just so like, it's not the hood no more like it used to be, but boy, oh boy, it used to be crazy. Anyways, we got places like over the Rhine. They call it like down the way. Anyways, these places used to be so ignorant and so ghetto. But when Obama won the presidency, you could walk through those places and everybody was just happy. I had never seen that before. So I'm saying that to say, I believed in a dream too. And we don't need to stop believing in dreams because faith is the things hoped for in the absence of what has yet to come. We don't never need to lose faith. What we need to do is we need to like hold people. See, I'm saying these words, but I'm also thinking aloud. How do you hold somebody accountable when it's like everybody doing it? You know, it's kind of like, how do you hold somebody accountable? How do you hold people accountable in a house that they did not build? Like, how can you hold somebody accountable? Like for me, for example, if I stole this house, right, and I left this house to my descendants, how could they ever truly make something right in something that was stolen? Well, the first thing that you do is you develop transparency. That's the first thing you do. Develop transparency. That's the first thing you do. Let's see, make sure I ain't miss nothing. Because he wanted to gain our trust. Yeah, man, that's what they do. They gain our trust. And I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. I appreciate y'all being here. Again, we are the biggest, by the way. So if you don't have a home, you found one now. And if you don't have a tribe, you've definitely found one now. And I appreciate you being here. You and I are the biggest. That's why I say we are the biggest, because we're bigger than everybody spiritually. It's just only a matter of time. So anyways, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, because we are the tribe. Anyways, I won't keep you too much longer. What I'm pushing to you is everybody that you can name that's of a prominent position. Everybody. I mean, everybody. Y'all can name anybody right now. Oh, I didn't talk about my last point to the United Talent Agency. So not only are they part of our elites, politicians are part of all these organizations and societies, because in order to operate in a space of influence, you have to be a part of these. Not only that, but then you got on the entertainment side, you got, see, right now what's going on, we kind of talked about this too, but right now what's going on in the streamer space is that the reason that streamers, you know, podcasters and stuff like that are going broke, a lot of them are. But anyways, the reason that streamers are as popular as they've ever been and are even more popular than Brad Pitt You feel me? Like the reason that these people are so cool and so polarizing nowadays is because we were in a space of moving away from the celebrity. We were in a space of moving away from idols. So the streamers represented, they represented freedom. They represented, the people. You can be like a Kai Cenat. You can. I know some Kai Cenats right now. I know some I Show Speeds right now. I grew up with him. He's from Cincinnati too, by the way. I know I Show Speed. I don't know him, but I know people like him. I know people like Jake Pauls, Logan Pauls. I know them. I don't know them, but I know people like them. You can be them. You can. So they say. All those people, what do they have in common? All of those people that are just named are signed to one talent agency that represents basically all of Hollywood's elite. It's called United Talent Agency. So if you see an I Show Speed stream or a Kai Cenat stream, and you see agendas being pushed where you don't really understand it, you're kind of like, why would he get in the shower with Ray J? Why? That's not Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat is a brand just like Gatorade. Logan Paul is a brand just like Prime. And he is Prime. You know what I mean? I Show Speed is a brand. They are not the ones making these decisions. United Talent Agency represents some of Hollywood's most elite. So what I'm saying to you is that the same beast that operated in Hollywood is now controlling the freedom space. So you got to be wary of that too. When you move away from tyranny, you then go back to something called subversion, a shadow government. That's what you go to. Where now things just get moved to the shadows. So how do we move from things getting moved to the shadows to things actually becoming fair for all people? Do I think that that's possible in this lifetime? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Do I think it's possible in this lifetime? That's that faith thing. In my lifetime, I'm not so sure. But he's gonna come like a thief in the night. So, and that's gonna be a terrible day, by the way. But do I think it's possible in my lifetime? The thing about prophecy is that it has to be fulfilled, whether the day or tomorrow, in this lifetime or the next. That's the thing about prophecy, is that it has to be fulfilled. So, as much as we don't want the prophecies of Revelation to come true and stuff like that, it has to. And what this current world is doing right now, like what those current Israelites are doing right now, the current Jews are doing right now, the current, the people in power are doing right now, is they're trying to force themselves into prophecy. They're forcing the prophecy to unravel because they're sick. And just like we talked about with Paul on Understanding Conspiracy, these people actually believe that they're bigger and better than God. And I ain't talking about Lucifer. So it's a tricky situation. But I do believe it's possible. I looked away when I said that. I do have some reservations. I do have some doubt about it. I ain't gonna lie about it. But I keep doing it. See how I keep doing it? But I do believe that it's possible. Do you believe some people got raptured already? Definitely. I had a situation where some close friends of mine, we used to work together. Their little brother died. Little boy. He had to be no more older than 14 when he died. But he drowned in the ocean. And anyways, I say all that to say, not only was it sad, but anyways, I do believe that the pure and upright are being removed early. I believe that. I believe that. I believe the lowly and the upright and the righteous are being removed early to avoid tribulation. Yeah, I'm taking it there, y'all. I know that I'm not trying to make this but this is what it is. I do believe that. So why are all of the rest of us still here? Is because either we have some stuff to work out and to figure out to save ourselves and our bloodline, or we're here to help pull others out, or because we can't get it right. That's why we keep coming back, or all of the above. It's just what I kind of find to be true. It's what I found to be true. We at about 140. I appreciate all of y'all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I might come back at 9 for something else. I'm not so sure. But until then, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.